So this morning we're going to talk about du'as and du'as after Fajr.
And as you know, du'as, prayer is at the heart of Islam, at the heart of, well, most spiritual parts, but we're talking about Islam, we're Muslim, and it's really great to have a chance to find out a bit more about this du'a that we're going to look at today, which is a multi-purpose. It's not one of the specifics for a particular thing, but it has a variety of
So it's a pleasure to have you, brothers.
Thank you very much. Pleasure.
Assalamu
alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Yes, this is a very, very beautiful dua, and it is multi-purpose. So it's got different meanings to the actual dua and different benefits it has. So this dua has been brought down by Jibreel to the Holy Prophet. And whoever prays it after Fajr and also keeps it on the body as Taw'eed receives the following benefits. So keeping it is basically having the intention of this dua on you throughout the whole day. What it does is protection from death by accident, which is one of them. Exemption from the questioning of the qabr by Munkar and Nakir. The relief from the fright of any abundant or malaki in the grave. So these things basically depends on your daily base. So last time Allah, if your life was taken on that day, then you have these benefits that's already, because you've recited this specific dua in the morning.
So when you say it says keeps it on the body, is it like if we have it in a pendant, kept
so
safely,
you can have
or
it, so it's either you can have
a cloth on a piece of paper.
You can either have it basically inside you as a niyyah of this dua.
Okay.
So as the thought of this dua, you can have it with people have this dua they recite throughout the whole day. So this specific dua, like I hear my father sometimes whispering to himself, but it's actually is reciting this, and it's just you're just this basically dua is it's confirming you with yourself that there is no Allah but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and there's no messenger but Muhammad Rasulullah, and there's no wali illa Ali. So you're just confirming this on a daily basis throughout the whole day.
Affirmation, yeah.
Exactly. Even if you have it on a pendant, or if you have it on a paper which is inside your wallet, or
I think when you look at the description of protection from death, from accident, exemption from the questioning, I think you'd be grasping onto that if anything, God forbid, happened to you.
It's not. It's a very
in a pocket right next to your heart would be.
Yeah.
I mean, these du'as work wonders. There's unanswered questions people have in the world on how certain things have actually, surpassed. There's people who are literally inches away from death, and they're in their hospital bed and they have walked out. These questions are yet to be answered. How are these done?
That's quite an important point, because do you know, like we live in a world where things are seen sort of materially, and and in material, as you said, like in a kind of material sense, it would seem that this person was supposed to pass, or these in the cause and effect, the chain of cause and effect, particular things should happen, but they don't, and we're mystified. But Allah is, His hand is behind so much. I
often think when it's when we're looking at spiritual, du'as, and actually when you look at these phenomena, and they're miracles on a daily basis, aren't they? That
around
like you
us
said,
all the time.
You hear of people
power of du'a.
Absolutely, you think you hear of people going near death, having awful accidents, and then recovering through miraculous means. And I think when you have the power of du'a with you, and if, like you're saying, your father recites it, that protection must be,
Of course, I mean, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protects all His beings.
Yeah.
But these du'as just kind of boosts it, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has seen you made an effect. You made an effort of reciting this specific du'a. At the end of the day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala counts you on the effort that you put towards Him. So you getting up in the morning to pray, that's an effort that you've put towards Him. Even the rest of the day, if you're working and sometimes you're very busy at work, no, make time for salah, and Allah will make time for your business to grow. You have to stop it. Go. I've got 5 minutes. I need to go pray, and I come back, do my thing. This is the effort that you put in for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you say leave it, the more you leave it, the more Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees that, okay, you kind of slacked this today,
But also you were saying in the previous show about how we our mannerisms and etiquettes are, we live in a non-Muslim, predominantly non-Muslim society. So when we're taking that dedication out to do prayers, often you'll find your colleagues asking, so what do you do when you're praying? And that respect grows in their heart that you're dedicated to your prayers. And it's that time out in the day to actually focus on Allah when you're in a world full of materialism and
realign the self.
Exactly. It's such a blessing to
put yourself back on track.
Yeah.
Because during the day you get a lot of things happen. You get angry. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He dislikes the anger when a person is angry. When you're angry and you remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you automatically calm yourself. You become to calm down. Dhikr Allah.
Yeah, it's really remembrance. The heart finds
remembrance
peace.
Remembrance of Allah
right?
subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even when you're angry, you just say astaghfirullah wa atubu ilayk, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad, and you automatically feel better.
Definitely.
There's a lot of angry people out there. I mean, a lot of our scholars actually tell us, be careful from your anger, because your anger brings other sins, open doors to other sins.
I like what you said earlier when you were saying about your chase. It's almost, these are my words, but like somebody's chasing the dunya, and so Allah is leaving them to keep going. But when they turn to Allah, it's almost like then Allah turns back to them and maybe makes a better outcome for them. I find that quite interesting.
Yeah. I mean, look, everyone, no one's perfect, and everyone sins. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just looks at the person who realizes and feels bad. This why a tawbah. When you need to do tawbah, you actually have to go on your knees and beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive you. And you have to do that with all your heart. So for a person, I personally think it's harder for a person who sins and has grew up around sinful acts, and for him to turn around to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will hold your hand straight away. Yeah. Quicker than the person who grew up around Islam. This is my own kind of thoughts about this, by the way. And because that person had to actually, like I myself, I grew up in a Muslim family. I grew up with a father who's a scholar. I grew up around these things. For me to stray, my sins are counted double than anyone else, because I grew up around this and I already know about this. But for a person to grow up in a different family where religion is just a norm, and it's nothing in their daily basis, and they don't have praying, or they're not even Muslim. And for this person to turn around and accept Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah sees, okay, he's put a mad effort.
That person has made a conscious decision. Am I going towards the path of Allah, or am I going to go on another path? And when you get to that transition, that point, that's a monumental decision.
Of course.
And even I think, when you're talking about raising in scholarly families, I mean, I think examples, even for people that are born in Muslim families, I think there's a lot of examples that, I personally know about from people that they've also had to make a conscious decision that, is it the path? Because religion is obviously taught to us, but it's where your heart is connected. Exactly. And even that's a blessing. So even to continue that, your father's, his learning and his knowledge, it's a blessing upon you.
Oh, definitely.
But
you have a choice. It's your choice at the end of the day. You go to a certain level. I mean, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rasulullah teaches us that from 0 to 4 years old, you can't account anything that your children done. From 4 all the way to 11, you kind of need to answer their questions. From 11 to about 15, that's when you need to teach them the deep side of the world. And after 15, they make their decisions, because they get to a certain age where they can answer questions and also research and ask themselves questions and then research and answer their own questions, rather than going else, because we have a wide media selection. We have an internet portal which contains every single book, ahkam, to hadith, to everything. Absolutely. It's all on the internet now.
Yeah. Very blessed. So, sorry, to continue on with the dua, there's a few more examples of this protection, and then perhaps you could go into reciting for us, please.
Inshallah. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لا إله إلا الله الجليل الجبار، لا إله إلا الله العزيز الغفار لا إله إلا الله الواحد القهار لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له إلها واحدا ونحن له مسلمون لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله علي ولي الله وصلى الله على خير خلقه ومظهر لطفه محمد وآله أجمعين الطيبين الطاهرين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل نعم المولى ونعم النصير.
Beautiful, very beautiful. I was thinking about this, a portion of this dua when it says protection from accidents, because accidents happen so much. I mean, very recently, I was just made a quick trip out of London, and I saw somebody got, you know, knocked off their bicycle, and he didn't have a helmet on, but he seemed okay, but, you know, dazed. But it just, the simplest of things that it's around us all the time. You mentioned before, like the miracles happen, and we got this rich spiritual ocean from Allah to the Prophet, through his family to us. And, you know, sometimes we take it for granted. You know, the riches are around us almost, and we're just searching and chasing other things, and the richness is right here.
Absolutely. And I think even as you recited that, it takes you, even though it's not, you know, not early morning at Fajr time, but the effect on your soul, you immediately connect on that, you know, on that recitation.
There's a vibration.
Yeah.
There's a vibration.
And I think it's, you know, if you should recite this in the morning, how blessed you'd feel, you know, that connection with Allah to calm you, to give you that peace. And
sometimes you look for a blessing that's literally underneath your nose.
Yeah.
You know, it's right in front of you, but you don't account for it because it's not a blessing that you look for.
Yeah.
Because a human being is greedy. He always asks for more and more and more. He wants more and more and more, but doesn't actually, you know, accept the fact that they're blessed, whether it's something they've asked for or not.
I think that goes into, I mean, these are du'as, what we discussed previously and today, about submission and knowing that Allah is the Almighty, and, you know, and then Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and Imam Ali, and it's a submission to his will. And you think part of that is our needs and our hajat that we ask, but if it's good for us, we say, Allah bless us with this, you know, request, or and if it's not good for us, then deter it from us, because we don't know, we can't see the overall picture of, in the long term, what something is.
That's a really important part of when we're praying, because sometimes we ask for something that we just want it, but we might get it, but it doesn't mean it's going to be a good outcome, getting this thing that you want. So you have to be careful what you ask for.
Yeah, and I had a friend who said to me, I spent 6 months reciting the Namaz Ghufayla between her, you know, Maghrib and Isha, and she said, I was insistent on something I wanted, and she said after 6 months I wasn't getting it, I was getting frustrated, and I kept reciting this dua, Allah, I want it, I want it. She said eventually 6 months later my dua was fulfilled, and she said, but it was the worst thing I ever asked for. She said, and I wish, and it was almost like a lesson for her. She said, I understand it's a lesson, that I shouldn't have been so insistent, because maybe initially I wasn't getting it, and I don't know what the hajat was, but it was interesting that, you know, how different things Allah is teaching us, and it almost like we're children sometimes, like, you know, how they throw tantrums. We want. Oh,
we are but, psychologically.
Yeah, and we need to put that trust in Allah, that what's good for us, Allah give us in abundance, and what perhaps is something that's going to cause us to deter from the past, Allah don't bless us.
Sometimes you ask for something and it doesn't happen, maybe it's for the better for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's always a lesson in that.
And sometimes you ask for something and something wrong happens. Completely opposite. It's called dafa' bala.
Yeah.
It's you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has done that so something worse doesn't happen to you during that day. But it's all from the supplications, from the du'as that you use on a daily basis. You know, sometimes you can just say, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. That's enough.
That's a dua in itself.
Yeah.
That's a dua in itself. So what would you say would be the takeaway message if we had to put it on a matchbox, what would we take away from today in terms of this particular?
Well, I feel
prayer?
very peaceful. I think that, mashallah, your reciting is really beautiful.
Thank you very much.
And I think it just shows me, I think today, that really how powerful, even though that's a short dua, how powerful the words are. And all the list of protection.
This is your submission to Islam right here.
Yes.
This small dua right here is your submission to Islam. You have given this over here is what Islam revolves around.
We've just time is the master. But thank you so much for that recitation and for that explanation. And we're going to have next up Sister Masoma Jafar and Sister Amy discussing hijab and